No can konim you yet. Roll.
Sydney, I'm not ready to you.
How's that na, Uncle Jordan? You look one can is a daddy blami?
Yeah, sure. What is that?
You think ba you preparing one romantic dinner for Emma? Actually, blami one time, Emma.
The TVWAN News is proudly brought to you by
BSP, our bank, our people.
Hello, I'm Carol Kido Jr.
And I'm Jasmine Eru. Join me later in the bulletin for sports.
In this edition, Marape supports review of PM election, hope fades in finding earthquake survivors, and battle of the best of Central Nines on. A case involving the abduction and sexual penetration of a 3-year-old girl has been committed to the Lay National Court by Marabe's Senior Provincial Magistrate, Pius Tapil. The toddler was allegedly abducted on October 7, 2022, by a 25-year-old man who sexually abused her, then sold her for 500 kina.
The Lay Committal Court heard today that 25-year-old Paul Stoney from Henganofi in Eastern Highlands Province allegedly abducted a 3-year-old in front of her family store at 4 Mile in Lay on Friday, October 7, 2022. The toddler was with her mother and grandmother, who were selling betel nut and cold water in front of the store. According to the police report, her mother left her with her grandmother and went to the store to get more containers of water. She returned shortly after to find the toddler missing. Witnesses described the defendant to the mother, who then searched for the toddler with help from the community. At about 8 a.m. on Saturday, 8 October, the defendant was seen at Raikos Market. He was taken to the victim's house and questioned. He revealed he had left the child at 1 Mile. The toddler was found at 1 Mile in the company of a woman. The woman said she had bought the girl from the defendant for 500 kina. The child was taken to the 3 Mile police station where a police report was filed. Then she was brought to the Family Support Center for a medical examination. Morabe's Senior Provincial Magistrate, Pius Tapil, said nurses checked the girl and reported that lacerations on her body and her private part, adding there is sufficient evidence on file to prove elements of sexual penetration and evidence on file to prove that he removed the child from her mother with intention to sell. The case will come before the National Court on Monday, February 27th. Mary Stella Kelleton, TV1 News.
President of Kutubu Local Level Government John Pipi Kila commended the people of Southeast Mananda in Mount Bosavi Nipa Kutubu District for establishing a special purpose authority as a vehicle for development purposes. Kila said service delivery in these areas remains challenging. The establishment of the authority gives hope and possibilities to see more development. Surveyors are now in the Mount Bosavi area carrying out feasibility studies of missing road links, an immediate project that the authority has embarked on for its people.
The creation of the Southeast Mananda Special Purpose Authority is a step in the right direction, President of Kutubu Local Level Government John Pipi Kila, in a phone interview, says Southeast Mananda LLG has a population of more than 10,000 people, and service delivery to the area is very challenging considering there are no proper road links. Walagu Village is privileged at this point with the Special Purpose Authority.
So thank you, long Prime Minister James Marape. I think Misabe Ocean, this road, long Mount Bosabe, and yet to finish, and but still, we will be conducting road long. Tari bagam join come long finish long Kutubu na Kutubu bagam join long Tari na Walaku na Kose long Mount Bosabe na Muluma na this have road connection by go Misabe.
Mr. Killa added that Kutubu LLG will support the new SPA's efforts to connect Walagu to Como and Kutubu government stations. Already, the authority has delivered an ambulance, solar lighting systems, and paid 10% tithes to the churches.
Last time, legally 2 million kina pin payment kamlong Ogeda adrodi kisim 2 million. Moran special bebesa adrodi kisim. Kutubu special bebesa adrodi kisim. Como special bebesa adrodi kisim. Bad mibla kisim longen. Nubla adrodi now kisim on the leadership of the chairman Ibabe Uhulujali. Leadership longen mibla ambulance na sanda solar pet. Na sola na mi blagi bim lo Walaku, mi blagi ambulance mi blagi lo Como acara iba, and mi blagi saving more people. Money in on blong mi susim na kega nothing. Money come long government department of foreign affairs, come long finance, come long department of DP. Money blong works so legally 2 million. You blong giving government giving me blong thank you.
TVWAN News was in Walagu recently and witnessed firsthand the challenges locals face each day. Nipa Kutubu MP Dr. Billy Joseph confirmed that surveyors are now in the Mount Bosavi area carrying out feasibility studies of missing road links. Freddie Moe, TVWAN News.
Launched today in Port Moresby, the review of the form and system of government for the election of the Prime Minister by the people will be undertaken by the Constitutional and Law Reform Commission. Prime Minister James Marape, who was the keynote speaker at the launch, says he supports the push for the Prime Minister to be voted for by the people.
The Prime Minister James Marape and Chairman of the Constitutional and Law Reform Commission, Saki Solomon, launched a review of the form and system of government, the election of the Prime Minister by the people today.
In the midst of all this review that is going on from our front, let me say to the CLRC and all of us here in this room that at no cost must we compromise our democracy. Our democracy must be advanced in the process. Let me ask us, at no cost, there is no price to the value of our identity. In our conversations going forward, Christianity and democracy must be advanced. These are the two guiding principles that will govern our country going forward.
It is expected that the review will raise fundamental questions and discussions on bicameral and unicameral parliamentary systems, current three-tier system of government, the tenure as well as the method and criteria for the nomination and election of the Prime Minister, and the relevance of the English monarch as head of state.
This CLRC presents you an opportunity to construct the future of your country you want, the country I want collectively, so that when we arrive at the podium in 2025, we have entrenched our democracy, we have entrenched our identity as a country of 1,000 tribes that is united by the love and unity of the Christian God we serve, but more importantly, the structure that has carried us, the three arms of government, and the functionality, and the types of how these arms of government are elected into office or appointed into office, are we looked at in totality.
Apart from the election of the Prime Minister by the people, the other key matters the review include the current structure of the National Parliament, the system of government, and the different levels of government.
After nearly 50 years, it is time for a review to reflect the current circumstances of PNG. CLRC will be undertaking a nationwide consultation to all the provinces and the autonomous region of Bougainville from February to May this year. In this way, we can feel the pulse of the society, the people's thoughts about this review, because government is meant to be the people, for the people, by the people.
The final report with recommendations is expected to be complete by December for submission to the Prime Minister. Mary Silla Kellerton, TV1 News.
Furthermore, Secretary for the Department of Personnel Management, Tyas Sansan, says it is time for what she describes as a major house cleaning for the country. The Secretary says the systems PNG adopted from its colonizers has outlived their practical purpose.
After 50 years of being a sovereign nation, this major house cleaning for PNG must take place. So the scene is set for the next generation of leaders to take this country forward. 50 years is a long time. It is long and memorable enough for us to admit that today we have real challenges that have emerged and lingered over time all these years. The form and system of government and the laws we have were adopted from our former colonizers, and they have outlived their practical purpose and relevance today and the future after 2025.
The Leadership Tribunal hearing on miscount allegations against suspended Medang MP Brian Kramer has been adjourned to Monday, February 20th. The defense team representing Kramer has asked for more time to go through witness transcripts. The court heard that the prosecution and defense teams are dealing with 20-volume document including 8,400 pieces of witness transcripts.
That all the transcripts of the witnesses of throughout the trial was actually produced and served on both the prosecution and the defense. And so it's just because of the volume of documents. So in total, I think there's 20 volume folders and around 8,400 pieces of paper, plus the transcript, in total about 9,000. Because of the volume of documentation, both sides, prosecution and defense, had yet to complete their submissions. So we asked for an adjournment for both public prosecutor and ourselves, and the matter returns on Monday.
This is TV1 News. When we return, funding never reaches districts and ExxonMobil supports Hiri Moale.
With BSP Internet Banking, you can enjoy your banking at home, at work, or wherever you are. BSP Personal Internet Banking allows you to view your accounts and transactions, transfer money, bill pay, schedule future payments, or access your bank statements. Visit your nearest BSP branch to register now. BSP Internet Banking, the smarter way to bank. BSP, our bank, our people.
It's that time again! Scale Rise is giving you the chance to win some Scale School money for 2023. Over 220 winners, 4 fortnightly draws, that's 55 fortnightly winners. Cash prizes starting at 1,000 kina, 2,000 kina, 3,000 kina. They also have consolation prizes of 500 kina. Buy any Scale Rise or Ori Rise to enter the promotion for your chance to win the Scale School money. Terms and conditions apply. Scale Rise,
the brain changer.
Open Nets.
We see you day in, day out, getting on with the job. Coming out on top, because you're not one to back down. From the islands to islands, from the southern to the north, we see you, moving heaven and earth to move our country forward. And at the end of the day, we will be there to serve Papua New Guineans who achieve success with the reward they deserve.
Strong like you, smart like me. I hope they don't break. Now Choli Luki's son. This is Relaxo. Strong plus shred. Should I try them on you?
No, please. I'll take them.
Relaxo. Very strong, lasts long.
Axion, the grease stripper, is more powerful than ever before. It is now 100% effective in grease removal. Every concentrated dab is packed with grease and oil stripping power. A breakthrough dishwashing solution. Axion has 100% effective grease stripping power. no oiliness, no bad odor, no struggle. This is the best grease stripping.
Welcome back. Funding earmarked in provincial infrastructure grants never reaches the districts. Menyama MP Solan Loifa expressed his concern that the Morobe Provincial Administration does not properly vet so-called contractors who take the money and disappear.
During the Morobe Provincial Government's budget session at Tutumang House, Menyama MP Solan Loifa expressed concern that funding allocated for infrastructure development never reaches the districts.
Plenty money law, provincial infrastructure grant, em no sa kama pro district. Em sa finish lo Morobe Provincial Administration lo year lo late. Right. Paper contractor sa kami chen na finishing is money na ino sa kama from place. Kama blouse line. No budget bouquet mipla bila singut na mipla toko but money wo proceed to provincial government staff. Ino reaching one man meri lo place.
Loifa appealed to Governor Luther Wenge to ensure the 22 million kina allocated to the 10 districts of Morobe must reach them. In the 644 million kina provincial budget, 10 million kina is reserved for provincial infrastructure program, while 50 million kina is for district infrastructure development program. Speaking on the same subject, Member for TVWAN CRC Dr. Kobe Bomario stressed on checks and balances.
So where is the check and balance here? That's why I'm saying that there's a lot of compromise somewhere. So for administration, you can look at how you assist him, eligible plan. People in between are also dishing up with a proper channel, with a proper check and balance. So people think the budget is good.
Both open members expressed that this is why tangible services fail to reach the remote districts of Morobe, with Dr. Bomario appealing to the administration to adhere to the process of awarding contracts. Jasmine Ero, TVWAN News.
Morobe's top coffee producers can be found in Menyama district. Their main challenge is the lack of infrastructure. Farmers are forced to carry bags of coffee and walk for days to reach the nearest road, and with coffee being a perishable product, the beans rot within a few days, resulting in wasted effort and time. Local MP Solan Loifa urged the provincial government to hear their plea and build roads and bridges to connect Menyama to Ley.
Kobe Blow still here the mountain the booster. Plenty time people are struggled and people are coming to carry coffee. People are come up to lake. When the time the government will do from people through the province there, straighting roads to people, straighting bridge to people. So for 47 years long the time, people are more than people government and people province and people come up there, you know, good luck. Oga time ni to go bridge na usika sona imi oga time tutumangi imi kambara pro dislabal samna time ima kamabi mol big la tingina imi kamabi big la project lo province lo mi banda imi can benefit na generating big la money lo this project in Chad.
The Oksapmin Secondary School in Telefomin Sandown Province recently opened its new facilities built under the national government's infrastructure tax credit scheme. It is worth 38.4 million kina, implemented by Oktedi Mining and its business partners. The school will begin using the facilities this academic year. The opening ceremony was attended by government officials, including the Minister for Works and Highways and Member for Telefomin Solan Mirisim, Minister for Education and Member for Usino Bundi Jimmy Uguro, and Minister for Finance and Planning and Member for Finchaf and Rainbow Paita. The Oksapmin Secondary School Infrastructure Project was approved in 2010 at a project cost of 26 million kina, with implementation beginning in 2012. Due to several setbacks such as landowner disputes, logistical challenges, weather, landslips, the 2015 El Nino-induced drought, which impacted OTML operations, and COVID-19, the completion of the project was prolonged. However, the project was completed and saw the construction of several new buildings, including 7 staff houses, 2 double classrooms, 3 dormitories, 3 ablution blocks, a mess, administration building, library and science laboratory. OTML Acting General Manager Community and Operations Support Jesse Pyle believes that the new facilities would provide more young men and women with the opportunity to be educated. He said that Oktedi will continue to work with the national, provincial, district and local level governments and other stakeholders to deliver such projects that will change the lives of people. Minister Paita committed 1 million kina towards funding new computers for students. MP Mirisim committed 3 million kina to the secondary school, 1 million kina each to Oksapmin High School and Bak High School. Number One Super has reopened its refurbished branch in Wabeg Enga province. The branch has been relocated to the ground floor of Bethel Building to improve member access. Rafael Taiman, Director Corporate Services with the Enga Provincial Administration, joined NSL CEO Paul Sayer and staff of NSL Wabeg branch in opening the office. He added that NSL is also preparing for the anticipated opening of the Pogera mine, which will present a number of opportunities for residents in Wabeg and the potential for the town to grow into a key industrial township. Improved features of the Wabeg branch include counters, a self-service counter for ease of access, and one comfortable interview or meeting room that provides privacy for members when discussing their superannuation benefits and retirement savings. Mr. Sayer said Number One Super is renovating and upgrading its branches nationwide. The Hirimwale Festival Committee, in collaboration with gold sponsor ExxonMobil PNG, held a check presentation at the Airways Hotel in Port Moresby this morning. ExxonMobil PNG's chairman and managing director Peter Laden presented the generous support of 150,000 kina to MKA chairman and NCD deputy governor Dadi Toka Jr. and reigning Miss Hirihanenamo 2022 Hitolo Guba. Port Moresby will be buzzing with activity from the 3rd to the 5th of March as Motu Koitabu communities and the people of Gulf Province commemorate the Hiri expedition that took place over 300 years ago. ExxonMobil PNG Limited, the operator of the PNG LNG project, is supporting the Hirimwale Festival as a gold sponsor with 150,000 kina. This contribution demonstrates EMPNG's respect for the 4 Motu Koita villages neighbouring the LNG plant site outside Port Moresby. Chairman and Managing Director Peter Laden said the festival is a significant event for the communities of Boira, Papa, Lele and Porabara, as well as the people of Gulf Province whom they traded with.
We are very proud sponsors, of course, of the 49th Hirimwale Festival. In fact, ExxonMobil has been a proud supporter of this event since 2014. And we have a deep connection to the cause and of course what it reflects and stands for. Hirimwale obviously is set up in recognition of the original trade flows between the Motu Koita people and the Gulf Province. And ExxonMobil's business here of course relies on trade flows not within provinces necessarily but between Papua New Guinea and Southeast Asia. So we have a direct connection to what the festival represents and of course all the work that goes into reflecting the heritage and the culture that it stands for.
The Motu Koita Assembly Chairman and Deputy NCD Governor Dadi Toka Jr. expressed his gratitude towards EMPNG for their ongoing partnership since 2014.
So the amount that Exxon will be contributing to the Hirimwale Festival this year is 150,000. Exxon has reached out to more than the villages of Papa, Lele, Aurelia, Porabada and Boira. They've actually assisted the Motu Koita people in other programs and projects. Wonderful milestone, and thank you, Peter, and your team for this contribution and partnership between the Motu Koita people and ExxonMobil. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
To signify the partnership between ExxonMobil PNG and the Motu Koita Assembly, the MKA chairman and Mr. Laden set sail a small lagatoi across a pool of water at Airways Hotel. Hirimwale Festival preparations are well underway and will feature cultural performances from the Motu Koitabu villages, the Vanagi Heu Helulu, arrival of the traditional lagatoi, and the crowning of the 2023 Miss Hirihanenamo. Communities across NCD and Motu Koitabu are encouraged to join in the celebrations. You're watching TV1 News. When we come back, a look at news in the region.
Experience a convenient and smarter way to do your banking with BSB Mobile Banking. You don't have to leave the office or your home to pay for bills. You can view your account balance, transfer funds, top up phone credits, or purchase Easy Pay units wherever you are. Visit your BSB branch today to register now for BSB Mobile Banking. BSB Mobile Banking, the smarter way to bank. BSB, our bank, our people.
It's that time again! Scale Rise is giving you the chance to win some Scale School money for 2023. Over 220 winners, 4 fortnightly draws, that's 55 fortnightly winners. Cash prizes starting at 1,000 kina, 2,000 kina, 3,000 kina. They also have consolation prizes of 500 kina. Buy any Scale Rise or Ori Rise to enter the promotion for your chance to win the Scale School money. Terms and conditions apply. Scale Rise,
the brain changer.
He says the best Hunters players come from his region. So does she. But there's one thing that brings everyone together. SP Lager. Bongum Yumi. Cheers to 70 years.
Right across the nation, we eat. Emi trupla. All get a young plana lapun, only like him snacks crackers. Only make him here, no PNG, one-time lay biscuit company. It's crunchy and tasty. It's irresistible.
2022 Telstra NRL champions, Penrith Panthers Super League champions. Little kick, little try. Little kick comes through and it's chased by Banniston. Takes it on, scores. It's a pinpoint kick. Look at this, the centre of the traffic divided.
I want you to win somebody's heart. That's the end.
I never asked for your help with anything, Dad. Don't impose your expectations.
I'm going to be the one who makes the final decision here.
Welcome back. In overseas news, Australia's leading precision medicine program for children with cancer is expanding and will become available to all children by the end of the year. The program involves genomic analysis of each cancer to tailor targeted treatments.
It's been labelled a revolutionary treatment program that is now going to be expanded across the country to all 9 of Australia's children's hospitals, and that's largely due to additional funding not only from the federal government but also the Minderoo Foundation. So by the end of the year, every child diagnosed with any form of cancer will have access to this specific treatment. Now the scheme is known as the Zero Childhood Cancer Program, which uses a unique and sophisticated genomic testing sequence that allows them to identify any possible alterations or genetic mutations within a cancer cell. And from there, a team of lab scientists are able to prescribe precision medicine, so targeted medicine for those genetic mutations to each person. And it's actually shown that it's had really remarkable results over the last couple of years. The Chief Executive Director of the Children's Cancer Institute says that it's wonderful news that the program is now going to be expanded, and she says that it's definitely going to be rolled out in phases over the next coming months.
This is going to be rolled out progressively over the next 12 months. The Zero program has been open since 2017 for children only with the highest risk cancers. Yeah. Now this is going to be for every one of the 1,000 young people aged 0 to 18.
And Ari, what's been the impact for those children who've already participated in this trial?
Joe, well, since the scheme first began in 2017, of those 250 children that first participated, about 70% of those have seen nearly a partial or complete response to not only the treatment but also the disease. One of those children was young Christian Kazul, who was diagnosed originally with an aggressive and rare form of brain cancer when he was about 15 months old. Now, he had to undergo a fairly intensive chemotherapy treatment for about 5 months, and doctors actually found that rather than shrinking the tumour, it actually began to grow even more, and sadly he was given less than a year left to live. Now, since then, his devastated parents had enrolled him into the Zero scheme program, and he was able to take a genomic sequencing test which allowed them to identify a rare genetic mutation within his specific form of cancer. From that time, he was able to undergo a clinical trial for a drug that targeted that specific mutation, and now, nearly 5 years on, young Christian is 7 years old. He's alive and well, and he's enrolled in school, having the best time and living his best life as well. So really, it's been labelled a game changer, not only to the medical industry, but also the way we now diagnose and treat cancer for children like Christian.
International travellers to Fiji will no longer be required to provide proof of COVID-19 vaccination and travel insurance. The removal of all COVID-19 related border health measures are now in effect. The government said the move comes following careful consideration of the global and national COVID-19 situation by the COVID-19 Risk Mitigation Task Force and applies to both arrivals from air and sea. Previously, all travellers 16 years and above were required to produce proof of full vaccination and travel insurance covering COVID-19. As reported by the Ministry of Health and Medical Services, Fiji's hospitalization is low owed to the community-wide immunization and in-country surveillance capacity. Notably, the focus remains on implementing COVID-safe measures around those vulnerable to the severe effects of COVID-19. Drivers have long been told to keep their hands off it while behind the wheel, and now 5 mobile phone detection cameras are being rolled out across Canberra. It's part of the ACT government's commitment to Vision Zero.
Watching, but waiting.
We're looking at a really long lead time and a communications campaign to make sure the communities are ready and aware about what these devices are for.
Mobile phone detection cameras are finally rolling out across Canberra, 3 years after the ACT government flagged their introduction. During that time, police issued more than 1,100 infringement notices to drivers caught with their hand on it.
These cameras will contribute to the Vision Zero government commitment to road safety outcomes.
We saw last year we had a number of road fatalities, which was unfortunate. We're really striving hard to reduce that road toll as best we can.
2 fixed cameras will be located on Hindmarsh Drive and Gungahlin Drive, while 3 mobile ones will be moved across the city, including Canberra Avenue, the Tuggeranong Parkway and Yamba Drive. But warning notices won't be issued until mid-year, and fines of up to $612 and 4 demerit points will be even later. Until then, the focus is data collection.
We'll be using that to inform how we plan and roll out the cameras from the middle of the year.
The system uses artificial intelligence to photograph all drivers, forwarding assumed infringements to a human verification team and erasing the rest. CB and other two-way radios are still A-OK, as is making or taking a call or using navigation apps, if the phone is securely mounted. Otherwise, only Bluetooth or voice activation are permitted.
There's always an opportunity for the community to challenge that, but we're confident the system will be accurate.
Police are glad of the high-tech help, but want more of the traditional sort too.
I certainly would like to see more of these. I'd also like to see more police out on the road.
Education and enforcement anywhere, anytime.
Residents of Tara on Queensland's Western Downs have been able to return home to their properties following devastating bushfires in the region. More than 20 structures have been lost, including 17 homes.
This is the scene that many residents returned home to yesterday afternoon. Houses reduced to rubble, burnt out cars, blackened properties and perished animals. I'm standing outside one of 17 homes that were destroyed in this blaze. Mark Lacey returned home yesterday. He says while he's lost his house, he's grateful his caravan and container were spared, so he has somewhere to sleep.
I'm one of the lucky ones. At least I can put my head down. Okay, I know a bloke. He'll fall over if you tap him. He's a nice bloke. Now, Glenn, his name is, walking around with a wheelie walker. He's only my age. I don't feel so. Mate, I've bent over backwards to help him. Okay.
He didn't realise his insurance had lapsed and will have to rebuild his home out of his own pocket. He says right now what's most needed is a helping hand. He's urging Queenslanders and the community to put their hands up to help out and donate anything they can. Many residents here will be feeling the effects of the blaze well into the future.
The United Nations says rescue operations are coming to a close and it's shifting its focus to a humanitarian response for the millions left homeless by last week's earthquakes in Turkey and Syria. Tent cities are being erected for survivors who've spent days sleeping in the streets and in the war-torn areas of Syria. The UN has struck a deal to move some desperately needed aid into rebel-held areas.
Well, we're in a tent city in a town just near the epicentre of last week's earthquake. And you wouldn't know it from where I'm standing, but we're actually in the middle of a sports field. And hundreds of tents here have been set up for the many, many people left homeless by the earthquake. I can see children running around, kicking soccer balls. Many of these families are actually Syrian refugees who moved here from just across the border during the civil war over the last decade. This is the first step in dealing with a huge humanitarian crisis that's unfolding, but it has come too late. Villages and towns in this area were left behind by the government response. People here waited days for rescuers to arrive, and even after that, it took days more for aid and shelter to come. Some have told us how they spent 4 days in the snow and freezing cold. They didn't have enough clothes because they fled their homes so quickly. One family saying they were in their shorts and bare feet in the snow and freezing cold, not sleeping because they were so cold and scared. But as you can see here, shelter has finally started to arrive. And the bigger question now is what's next for all these people? This scene is just a tiny fraction of the big picture. More than 1 million homeless in Turkey. And get this, far worse in Syria, possibly more than 5 million homeless there, according to the UN, where many were already displaced by the civil war. Well, that crisis has been front of mind for the United Nations. Its aid chief making a visit in the city of Aleppo today in Syria. Martin Griffiths saying the rescue phase of this emergency is coming to a close, and now the urgent need is shelter, food, schooling and care. He drew specific attention to the situation in Syria, where aid is in desperately short supply. And if you think the stories you just heard from me about the situation in Turkey is bad, listen to this.
I have been hearing stories here in Aleppo this morning that chill you with what happened on those early hours of that terrible day. And what is the most striking here is even in Aleppo, which has suffered so much these many years, this moment, that moment, a week or more ago, was about the worst that these people have experienced.
Well, the UN has had extreme difficulties moving aid into Syria where it's desperately needed. But it says it's finally reached a deal allowing it to move aid from government-controlled areas into rebel-held parts of the country. That is a huge and monumental step, but there is a long way to go. Now, I told you about the millions of people left homeless by this quake. Well, here's another sobering figure. So far, tens of thousands of people have been killed in Turkey and Syria. Well, the UN believes that figure will more than double. Even seeing the scale of devastation that we've been witnessing here over the past week, that is hard to comprehend.
Coming up in sports after the break, players recognised and Olam injured. Taking us to the break now is the weather forecast for the next 24 hours.
He says the best Hunters players come from his region. So does she. But there's one thing that brings everyone together. SP Lager. Bongum Yumi. Cheers to 70 years.
Strong like you, smart like me. I hope they don't break. Now surely Luki's son. This is Relaxo. Strong plus shred. Should I try them on you?
No, please. I'll take them.
Relaxo. Very strong, lasts long.
A quick favorite meal for the day does feel good. Snacks noodles is my choice for a simple meal. It is easy to prepare and fast to cook. And with a touch of flavor and ingredients, quality noodles that can be cooked and enjoyed in many different ways. You see, my whole family loves it. It's made here in PNG and comes in different packed sizes. Snacks noodles, tastier but you like it more.
This should be a warning for you. His heart is already at its limit. He might not be able to survive another attack. He needs an operation as soon as possible, okay?
You should be scared, kid, because your parents just sold you off to me, so I owe you now.
Wait, you sold Aris to Dante? How could you do that to him? John, how could you do that?
So you want to earn some big bucks, huh? You think you have what it takes?
I do.
Charity Shield, a tradition that started all the way back in 1982 in front of 11,000 fans at Redfern Oval. That's amazing stuff! He's got it right out the wing, right in the breadbasket!
He's a big, powerful, athletic back rower.
Has to reach up for it. Rankin gets it on, 2-on-2. Nice footwork from Sini. Well done, young man.
Welcome back. In sports, the Rita Flynn courts on Sunday, the 12th of February, was bursting with cheering crowds as the semi-finals for the private company's netball competition unfolded. The top 4 teams battled it out to secure the top 2 spots for the grand final. There were a number of super close games across the divisions. Next weekend, games will hold final dry runs. A meeting will be held after this weekend's games with representatives of teams who are in the grand final. On February the 19th, the competition will have the top 4 playoff with 2 minor finals, and the 25th of February, the top 2 go head-to-head in the grand finale. It was game day for the best of all Central Province 9's rugby championships at the Bava Park in Port Moresby. Winners from all zones around Central Province began the pool draws this morning. Tournament Director Mickey Connors said that 32 games overall will be played from Wednesday to Thursday. Finals will be staged this Friday, 17th February. 3 days of rugby league action for Central Province began today. All winners of the zone competitions converged at the Bava Park this morning for the first pool matches of the Central Nines. Tournament Director Mickey Connors said that 32 games overall will be played from Wednesday to Thursday, with finals this Friday. The games began with Marshall Bugs defeating Ba'ara Flames 35-0. Besse Eels from Rigo and Lahua Laumas of Kiri East opened matches on Field 2. Eels beat Laumas 14-12.
Currently, at the moment, we are running the provincial championship leg here. That's all the 13 zones, all the way from Goilala right down to Marshall Lagoon. Yeah. So we got the championships ran 26, 2 from each championships, and then we got another 8 wildcard teams coming to make it 32 teams altogether. 16 out of that 32 teams, we'll pick only 2 from each pool to make it to 16, and then we go into the final 16. It's going to be just final 16 straight for 16 to 8 to 4, and then grand final.
Kone added that after selecting 2 sides from Central, East and West, 20 players will go into challenging the elite side.
We'll get 2 teams to go into Port Moresby Rugby League 9s, which is going to be held in March. So.
Tournament director Mickey Kone also mentioned that through the Central Province Dabari's 9th Championship 2023, they have seen many young potential players and are keeping record of them. Players from communities still have an opportunity to make an impression.
The players from the rural area, we still got opportunity. The door is still open for them. We're still getting them onto a development program, so we should be okay in that side. Yes, there's a lot of potential young and coming from the what, so we're just slotting their names down and we put them into the side. This is the third year now, and I'd like to say thank you to Scale Rice. They're bringing this, they have the support here on this competition, and then by next year, or not next year, end of this year, October, we should have the big one again, same as this one. We're moving it from January, February to October this year now, so that should be the way that we'll take it out to the communities out there.
The proposed EMK SIPIC Pride 9th tournament, initially set for this weekend, has been put off until end of the season. In an official media release issued today, EMK SIPIC 9th Tournament Committee regrets to announce the postponement of the tournament, which was set to run from the 17th to the 19th of February 2023. Due to time limitation and other logistic issues, they are unable to proceed with the event on the mentioned dates. This 9th competition is the direct scouting venue for the new SIPIC Pride franchise. With only 7 weeks left to prepare for the 2023 Digicel Cup season, all the focus is on getting the team ready for the inaugural season. Melbourne Storm will be running on the field this weekend against Warriors, without wrecking ball Justin Olam as their left centre. Olam walked off the field with a fractured arm in last Sunday's pre-season game with Roosters, a mega blow for the Storm.
One last play here.
Melbourne Storm confirmed on Monday morning that the team will be running on the field this weekend against Warriors without the service of Justin Olam as left centre. Olam walked off the field with a fractured arm in last Sunday's pre-season game with Roosters, a mega blow for the Storm. The club stated that scans taken late Sunday confirmed that the Storm centre suffered a fractured forearm in the pre-season match against the Roosters in Geelong. Justin will undergo surgery, which will then provide a clearer indication on his recovery period. The current estimation is he will be sidelined for 6 weeks. Storm reported that the injury will cause Olam to sit out until round 4 at least, sidelining key opening clashes against Parramatta, Canterbury and the Titans. And that ends the news tonight. Over to you, Carol.
Thank you, Jasmine. Before we go, remember to apply the following simple measures to prevent transmission of the coronavirus. Regularly wash your hands with soap and water, cough or sneeze into your elbow, and exercise social distancing. If you are feeling sick, please stay at home. You can also call the COVID-19 hotline number for more information or assistance. Pleasant viewing. Bye for now.
The TVWAN News was proudly brought to you by
BSP, our bank, our people.
Never miss a moment. Instant breaking and local news delivered direct to you. Read anytime from anywhere. Download the Loop PNG News app today. Available now on Google Play Store and the App Store.
Save time and money and pay your TV bills with a breeze. Call us today on toll-free number 1515 to set up your monthly postpaid TV subscription.